Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada. Today being Tuesday, the 21st of December, or the 18th of November in the 9th year of Chongalguk. Let's begin, as always, with a bow to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Chariot, Kyombae, Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가전맨세 1. 천일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이사인 지산천국과 천산천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 1. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, the original ideal of creation, by centering on true love. And I'd like to ask Reverend Stone if you could offer the opening prayer, please.
Join me in prayer. Good morning, our dearest, beloved Heavenly Parent, true parents, heaven of humankind. We're really so grateful now to be able to be working with True Mother in this very important final phase of the True Parents' earthly mission. And what an exciting time it is, with the spirit world really active. As Principal teaches us, in the last days, the Spirit will come down and be working. So we can see that if we can put in that effort and reach out to people, then amazing things will be happening. And we'll be able to reach John the Baptist figures, especially in the Christian sphere here in the Oceania region, which is mainly a Christian sphere. We'll be able to find incredible people who will be able to testify to true parents. Please guide us now, especially we're coming now to the close of this year, and we're beginning the 10th year of Chongalguk, which is a very significant year that we can see many amazing results. We pray also for the victorious fulfillment of unified North and South Korea, which Mother is really focusing on and culminating with this next year. So please guide us now. We thank you so much. We can be gathering each morning, centering on your word, centering on Reverend Yutaka. We pray that we can have good unity all across the region as a great foundation for this work going forward. Thank you. Please join us again this morning. I pray in the name of Greg and Reiko Stoneburst Central Family. Jew.
Thank you. Thank you. And let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Yutaka, as she says this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining this morning Fundoke. Today is also the beautiful morning. Let's put our sincere devotion and heart to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. So how's every day? Are you doing, or are you having the good time? Yes, really the beautiful day. Now in Sydney, within this week, really suddenly getting hot in the night time, in the morning time. Really the weather is changing. Of course, island nation is always summer, but anyway, now Sydney we can feel changing, and I think Melbourne. I'm not sure. New Zealand is getting hot now. Also, suddenly, right? Yeah, suddenly I think we could feel this changingness. And also maybe someone read the news in Asian Pacific, especially Philippines and Malaysia. Some big typhoon attacked those nations. So more than 30,000 people is now moving out from the house, or some really destroy their house, and they are having some evacuation life. So recently, really we could see the COVID, typhoon, and last time in summer, Australia has every time bushfire, right? So those things beyond the human power, those disaster or those things is always happening. But how ourselves we will prepare well, and we have to overcome all the situation. So really we have to go through together with God's power beyond our limitation and beyond our thinking. So really we could see many changing or many things happening. So really let's offer the prayer for the person who are suffering for disaster and really to facing challenging. And now in the World Summit, in the headquarters side, they are preparing the Peace Summit, World Summit in February. Originally, they are planning to invite the VVIP for 400 people from abroad to Korea, but now they plan to invite 200 people from abroad. So because now situation of COVID is changing. The providential election time was also settled, and there is heavenly providence timetable also. That's why in each field or each area, God prepared the righteous person. God prepared some John the Baptist figure. So the timing of these providence will be so perfect that they will be able to meet with these prepared people, the righteous people. There is no one who is unnecessary. Even single person looks like we don't know how he will do or how he will cooperate or how he will join for the providence. But this person and that person and that person come together and to create new possibility or new development of God's providence. So those things we could find in each place usually. So really there is no one who is unnecessary. Everyone is prepared person, and there is very special person. They are waiting for us. And for ourselves is also same. In each of us have a special role and a special really things to pray for involving big God providence. So our Johnson and our heart and our putting investment, everything will be accumulated and to open the new way and new gate. So continuously, let's put our sincere devotion and heart and prepare for really God's providence to the development. So let's go to the Fundok. Global Unity through True Parents, True Mothers Anthology. So yesterday share the part of True Mother's message. Mother talking about the will and wish of all fallen human beings. All human beings wish is to change from wild olive tree to true olive tree to receive the salvation. And also we shared yesterday about story of Joseph and Maria, and also the talking about the new books, some Tears of Jesus and Tears of Maria, right? So when we read about Mother's message, there are many artistic contents or artistic sharing. So we are reading True Parents book, but not only just a literal understanding, we have to understand the heart behind of the word. So let's try to find our True Parents' heart. I will read this. God's purpose of creation was for him to become one with Adam and Eve and form a family, thus creating 3 generations. That was also God's most cherished wish. However, due to the error committed by Eve during her growth process, God was unable to establish Adam's family. That is why today's world is said to be a fallen world, a world under Satan's ownership. For this reason, many religions came into existence in the course of history, and they have all sought after goodness. So Mother is talking about the purpose of God's creation. So Mother said, really God's purpose of creation was for him to become one with Adam and Eve and form a family, thus creating 3 generations. So this is the God's purpose, not only united with Adam and Eve, and also to create the 3 generations. We are hearing many times about 3 generations. So Father also said, if we could establish the tradition in the family and in the 3 generations, this generation will continue forever. That's why grandparents, parents, and child. If we are the parents' position, then our children and our grandchildren, how we can establish the 3 generations. So if we could fulfill the tradition of 3 generations, then this will continue. And when we go to the spiritual world, also Father said, we will go to enter the spiritual world with 3 generations. That's why this 3 generation has a meaning. So how we can organize. Of course, sometimes we are not easy to stay together in one home, but always we communicate and we have create some environment or culture, and with heart, then we could experience the 3 generation. Ideally, if we could stay together, of course, that is really the best things. So this Christmas time, I heard many people have a family gathering. So through meeting your children, through meeting your grandchildren, please also embrace them and love them well and to connect by heart. God established the people of Israel and Judaism, walked through them for 4,000 years, and promised to send the Messiah. And yet, how did that end? The people of Israel and Judaism did not accept Jesus. This was because they were ignorant. Nonetheless, the 2,000-year history of Christianity was begun through Jesus' resurrection. What do Christians wish for? They are waiting for the Lord of the second advent to come in the last days. So God created a lot of religions, and in the end, as the main, not the end, but as the main chosen person in religion was Israelites and Jewish, but they could not accept our Jesus because of the ignorance. So what's the wish of Christianity? And what's the God's wish toward Christianity? This is also same. How they can accept Messiah. And the Christianity's wish also same. How they can meet the Messiah. So, and meet the second advent. That's why during 2000 time period, after Jesus crucified, all Christian brothers and sisters, congregation, priest or minister, they are continuously waited for meeting the second advent and second of advent of Jesus and the second advent. That's why they prayed a lot, they believed a lot, and they really invested their whole life. And even now, they are waiting for meeting the Messiah, Jesus, and second advent. That's why those willingness and those hope and those serious wish was continuously inherited to generation in Christian society also. From early moment, 12 disciple time, early moment, the Saint Paul, right? Saint Paul time, and there are many kind of disciples that time, many kind of Christian. They are facing challenging or difficulty, but they continuously waited. Those heart, those investment, those effort. We can say these things is actually also Chonsong, continuously waiting, continuously willing and believing. Someday God will send the Messiah. God will send the Jesus again. This heart is accumulated until now. That's why when we see the Christian history, they are not individual. When we see one pastor or one Christian congregation, but behind of that, there is 2,000 years history, 2,000 years people's wish and effort was staying together. So how those persons really could conclude to meet the second advent. Now already true parents is here. So meeting with true parents for all Christianity. This is really historical wish of God, historical wish of Jesus, and also historical wish of those Christian ancestors. So really, we have to guide and prepare those moments. So really, we could recognize again and again about through true parents' message. So second coming and Messiah, true parents, King of King, true father and true mother. How we will guide with them to connect with those Christian groups. This is very important time. Okay, so continue our Cheonsongyeon. So in Cheonsongyeon also now main message is talking about original being, about God. We are willing to establish an eternal relationship with the absolute being of the highest goodness, our God and heavenly parents. So we are wishing to create the absolute or eternal relationship with God. Have you established the eternal relationship with absolute being of highest goodness already? With God? With heavenly parents? Not yet. So really, this is our cherished hope, how we can create the eternal relationship. We have to remind again, heavenly parents, can you show me how about our relationship? I'm willing you. I'm wishing you always. I believe you are wishing me also. How about our artistic connection? Already 50%, 70%, still not enough, already enough. So really we are willing to establish the eternal relationship. This is not only from our side. We are wishing, we really want to the deep relationship with heavenly parents by heart. But this heart is also same from God's side. Our heavenly parents is also willing to have the eternal relationship with you, with all of you, with all of us. God's side is willing, but our side also should wish strongly. Then we can have a common reciprocal relationship that we could meet again. So God is wishing, and we are wishing to create the artistic eternal connection. God is the original being of heart, intellect, and will. As such, what is God's sense of purpose? God must have been conscious of his purpose before he began his creation, not only afterward. Were this not so, he would never have been able to guide human history. Behind history lies a force that we cannot consciously perceive or feel. But for this, God could not lead us toward the world he intends to see. God has a purpose for the world, which he holds in the depths of his heart. Even though we have fallen, he is determined to find human beings who can be instilled with this purpose, which has nothing to do with the fall. So this is really also important message. Father said, God must have been conscious of his purpose before he began his creation, not only afterward. So God created all things. God created all universe, and God created human beings. But his wish and also his hope or plan or strong will is not only after creation. Even before creation, even starting moment, he have a strong will and determination to create universe, create all human beings. and to create ideal family, ideal nation, and ideal world together with sons and daughters, together with all human beings and all with universe. That's why we could see Father said God's purpose, God's kind of the determination toward fulfilling purpose is really clear and really strong. When we do something, we will decide some goal and purpose, right? I want to become the lawyer. Then surely study a lot and to become the lawyer. I want to success the business. Then we have to have a clear goal and until last minute invest. I surely become the Chombo victors. Then even looks like now is difficult, but clearly strong vision and will and to fulfill until last minute. I surely restore this nation of Australia, or New Zealand, Fiji, Palau, right? Vanuatu, Solomon Island. If we strongly determine and until last minutes, we surely can learn and fulfill that because God's attitude, God is showing us his attitude and his heart, and he himself never give up and continuously going forward. Of course, Adam and Eve's fall was maybe not expected things, but even unexpected matter was happened to God, but God never changed his mind, never stopped. That's why he could continue to advance for fulfilling his will. So God's Father said, God has a purpose for the world, which he holds in depths of his heart. So his will, his wish is strong. So when we learn about principle, when we learn also purpose of our life, and we know what kind of things we should prepare on this earth. When we see our life, do you have that kind of a strong will or a strong purpose and goal in our life? Or we don't have so much in our lives? God is wishing us to meet and to create eternal artistic relationship, to restore these relationships again. So ourselves, once again, find the clear goal and purpose. What is God wish to each of us to fulfill God's will together and individually? Surely there is God's will and hope, of course, to become God's child, ideal family, and heavenly forever Messiah. How we can fulfill God's wish, God's hope, and God's vision, which he is willing to each of us. So we really put our heart, sincerity, and fulfill together. And also Father said, even though we have fallen, he is determined to find human beings who can be instilled with this purpose, which has nothing to do with the fall. So God is continuously finding those persons who can overcome, who can think beyond the limitation, beyond the circumstances, beyond the environment, the person who can totally unite with God's heart, God's vision, and God's will. So God is absolute plus. Surely absolute minus will come. So if we can stand strongly, absolute minus toward God, we can also totally unite together. And when we organize and when we face to the society, when we can become absolute plus, surely God will send the absolute minus, the object partner. So there are many John the Baptist actually. So they are waiting, but how we can meet? Of course, God's guidance and God's providence is coming together, but we are as the central figure in each place. We ourselves also should strongly, even we don't have anything, maybe we don't have enough ability, but in our heart, how we can have a strong vertical connection with our heavenly parents, and through parents, we strongly stand and absolute face love and obedience to connect God could send the righteous people to each of us. So we could see one by one. They are really happy to come. And when they meet with us to see true parent vision, they will be inspired. That's why we ourselves really have to strong and clear mind to unite with our true mothers. Then we could see, and God can see the next providence. God created human beings because of love, yet love cannot be experienced by one person alone. Therefore, the only thing that God absolutely needs is an object partner to whom he can give his love. In other words, God needs his beloved object partner. He can love only when he has a partner to love. God is the origin of love and heart, and his motive in creating the universe was love. As Genesis 1:27 reveals, God created human beings in his own image as his substantial object partners. So with strong will and wish, how and why we will fulfill that. Because God is the one who are willing to unite by love and to fulfill by love. So God is waiting and God is willing, and the reason why God created object partner is to unite by love. So our human beings is the partner of God. So the partner of love meaning is to trust each other and love each other and give each other, to feel each other. As the object partner of love, God created these human beings. So God's creation of human beings is not only Adam and Eve, also ourselves, also yourselves. God wants to love. God wants to invest and stay together. That's why God created each of us. So I changed the part, this one. We can put also our names. Then we can read this one. So someone want to try to put your name, volunteer as the volunteer? Ida-san volunteer? No one? Okay, Mr. Douglas. So you put your name and you put your heart and please read these things. Please unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
Okay.
God created Douglas Moriarty because of love. Yet love cannot be experienced by one person alone. Therefore, the only thing that God absolutely needs is an object partner, Douglas Moriarty, to whom he can give his love. In other words, God needs his beloved object partner, Douglas Moriarty. He can love only when he has a partner to love. God is the origin of love and heart, and his motive in creating the universe was love. As Genesis 1:27 reveals, God created Douglas Moriarty in his own image as his substantial object partners. I agree.
Thank you so much, artistic sharing or real reading. Maybe one more person who want to read this one. It's also good to read. Just listening or reading is different. Okay, Mrs. Na.
God created me because of love.
Maybe better put your name. Please put your name.
God created Ngā Tamariki because of love. Yet God cannot be experienced by one person alone. Therefore, the only thing that God absolutely needs is an object partner, Ngā Tamariki Lulia, to whom he can give his love. In other words, God needs his beloved object partner, ngā tamariki lulia. He can only, when he has a partner to love, God is the origin of love and heart, and his motive in creating the universe was love. As Genesis 1:27 reveals, God created ngā tamariki lulia in his own image as his substantial object partners.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. Really can feel God's heart and God's wish and God's willingness. So really we are listening many God's sharing or true parents sharing about love, about partner, and we know God's purpose, but really we put our name to lead together, then really can feel artistically or more deeply. So maybe we can lead together, everyone, maybe by silently, maybe in the room, nobody listen what you read. So put your heart, then we can read one more time, because today this is the last slide. So really read together and we can feel again. So let's read together. 시작. God created Yutaka because of love, yet love cannot be experienced by one person alone. Therefore, the only thing that God absolutely needs in the object partner Yutaka, to whom he can give his love. In other words, God needs his beloved object partner Yutaka. He can love only when he has a partner to love. God is the origin of love and heart, and his motive in creating the universe was love. As Genesis 1:27 reveals, God created Yutaka in his own image and his substantial object partners. Did you read that? So God is really created each of us special way, unique way. Not only just God created everyone together. God has a plan. God has a love and hope to each of us or each of you special way, and created and waiting and willing us to come together, to live together and love each other. This is God's heart. This is God's wish. Continuously God is wishing to stay together for eternally. That's why through our true parents message, we can understand, we can find again, and we can connect again. So today we share also the mother's message and father's message. There are many situations happening, but behind of the history, behind of each event, even behind of each moment of our life, there is God's hope, God's heart, and true parents. Let's find, let's connect, and let's offer our filial piety, sincere devotion, and our love and heart to our heavenly parents and true parents. Thank you for joining today's morning fundoke. Let's have a great time. 감사합니다.
Samnida, thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka, for sharing with us and helping us to understand again more deeply Father's words and Father's heart, and Mother's words and Mother's heart. I was during your talk, I was reflecting on a few things, but the main thing was ignorance. How ignorance is really one of the things that prevented people from understanding and knowing God's heart. I was thinking about the whole purpose, as we read again and again, is that God created us for love. Each and every one of us, to have that deep relationship of heart, and that we can really feel connected. And so, I was reflecting on the enemy of love. It's easy to think that the opposite of love is to hate, but the thing is, hate needs a partner. Love needs a partner. It's a relationship. And I realized that the real enemy of love is ignorance, because ignorance doesn't need a partner. You just do it by yourself, and you just it actually creates an environment where you don't need to worry about anybody else. But when you hate someone, you're concerned about the other person. You want them to change, to the way you do things. When you love somebody, you have that relationship. So God is desperate to love us, and I think He doesn't mind even if people get angry and hate God. Why you have all this suffering? Why you're doing it? Because there's still a relationship happening. God can then send something to help us understand. As Reverend Yutaka read, our wish is to meet true parents, meet the Messiah. And how do we actually create that eternal heartistic connection? The other thing that occurred to me as Reverend Yutaka was sharing was God has a purpose, which is a clear plan for the world that is eternal and unchanging. And our purpose is actually our responsibility. But what stands in the way is the fact that we remain ignorant of how deep and how clear God's plan is. So to understand God is the way to remove ignorance, and that really opens the door, to love each other, because once we understand, then we can begin to love. So I see the real enemy in the world today is the enormous ignorance about each other, about God, about how relationships and love that create the family is the real cornerstone. So I was reflecting on those things and realizing that this is very precious time we have together, so that we can really get to know God and get to know each other. So thank you, everyone. We would like to be the first to share. Yes, Doug, go ahead.
That's one of my favorite subjects, ignorance. In Divine Principle, it says, ignorance is the shadow of death and the cause of all ruin. And Mary and I have spent a lot of time on islands. So in a sense, islands are a source of hope for us, because it's a small beginning. And we discussed that, at another time. But when we came to King Island, a friend of ours warned us. He says, be careful, small community. And I never forgot that, because it's so self-contained, and they had to survive and pioneer on their own. But the ignorance that we experienced, at least I did, coming from New York City with millions of people surrounding me, and to this small island, people referenced everything in their life according to the weather and what's happening on King Island. They wanted to know literally almost nothing about the world. So they practiced a kind of cultural isolation that was vast and really rather amazing to us. So we came here as to do tribal Messiah work, and it's been so many years, but we always felt like we were destined to experience this kind of thing. And we have seen so many kinds of militant ignorance, I've written about it, but I just can't think about it right now. I'm just trying to say to you that it's something of great importance, and we have to break through it, So I was just thinking this morning before you spoke and said that we haven't been able to break through with the people here. Matter of fact, even when we arrived 18 years ago, Nansuk's books were given out by the case, against our presence here. Apparently there were 2 cases of these books shared about it, and it's a real wall. But even in the light of that, we have 3 very good friends, families, and God brought these people to this island. And we're building a foundation with these three magnificent families after all this time. And it's giving us a lot of hope. So if we couldn't succeed with breaking through to the family, friends, and the neighbors in our tribe of Messiah, God is actually delivering to us people that are becoming substantial friends of ours. And it's giving us hope. But we're really hammering away at what we call militant ignorance, you know? So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. Yes, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems everybody has something to contribute. As Reverend Yamada was also mentioning, every person this morning earlier on. And so the uniqueness of Doug and Mary there to do something must be so significant. So last night I got invited to a end of year celebration for Indian community, mostly Sikhs, who I had given some of them a blessing some couple of months ago to some of in their community. So Kenji and myself and others have got to know them quite well over this last period of time. But anyway, so I was invited there, and I was the only European there, and there was one Chinese lady there. So anyway, she's like a medical person, and she had been working in their community and all sorts of medical issues. So she talked about that, how that cooperated together to do all sorts of things in the community. And then mostly about vaccination. But then I was thinking anyway, just listening, and then suddenly, unbeknown to me, then I was asked to get up and also talk as a UPF sort of representative, and a couple of them were ambassadors for peace. And so anyway, there I was with all these, they're all elderly people really, with Sikhs with their long beards, and beautiful people, amazing community. And I said to them, everyone that comes to New Zealand, God has brought them here for a reason, and particularly the Sikh community, because you are very family people. You live together 3 generations, and you are very concerned about your, keeping together as a family. And I said, in New Zealand, we have a terrible problem of family breakdown, and kids don't live with their parents, and they go off and live with others and all sorts of things. So I just really kind of like I said, the lady that came here talking about these medical, physical things, but I'm here as a spiritual healer to help heal our community and bring everybody together. So one of the ladies there, she's a Samoan, but she is married to a Sikh, and she speaks fluent Punjabi, and she's always helping us with this community. So she then interpreted everything to them, what I was saying, and I highlighted the fact that through intermarriage, we can merge into each other's communities, because our children are going to intermarry in the future. So we need to make sure we pass on the tradition of a family culture to them. So anyway, so many things to say about that, but really, even though I felt those people are here for a reason, just everybody has something they can contribute to this, pretty amazing work that we're doing together. All right, just wanted to say that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Rai, go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Douglas. I just remember when I was first in Victoria, I visited King Island and pick up a small airplane, 8 to 10 people, and then next to me, one women were sitting. Then we started to talk, and we talked a lot, and we're getting very familiar. And then he asked me, we are going to see what kind of person, and I said, Douglas Moriarty. And Then she stopped the talk with me. Such a small community. Then I remember my experience when I come back from Korea one day in an airplane. Then next to me, one Korean businessman was sitting. Then we started to talk. He was a successful Korean business person, but when we started to talk religion, he was so excited. Then he knows the Bible and the Christianity. So I said to him, "Oh, you can be a priest or the Christian, minister." And yeah, he said he went to theology, and he's a very strong Christian people. He want to go to the Thailand for the support for the tsunami. For people are really damaged by tsunami, and Christian people gather. Then he said, I love Jesus, and because of love, I can do anything. I can die for people. I can love anyone. Then, he has a great spirit. Then he asked me what kind of religion. I said, I am a Unification Church. Then he stopped. Then he stopped. Then, and he never talked after that. He said, I can love anyone. I can, die for people. But when I started to talk, I said, I'm Unification Church. Then he said, I never talked to Unification Church people before. And, where is God's love? And I was really wonder. And so people believe in God, but really don't know truly God's love. That is our kind of ignorance, and I think also not only other people, not only him, but I think us, we truly, really got to reach God's love. That is our challenge, I think. And but anyway, I had a very good time in King Island with thanks. It's Douglas, Mary, and really, try to break through. We hope we together. We try to break through together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you. We have time for one or two more people who'd like to make a comment. Yes, Rex, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to meet a Korean lady. Maybe Uncle John might remember Lydia, running a school page. Yeah, I met with her. Then we chat after asking, do you know what's going on in Korea? She was just she doesn't know. Then I explained to her that there is let's say Madamon. She knows Madamon. Now have a project that to bring reunification of North and South Korea. She just was surprised. She said, I don't know. I said, okay, I thought as a Korean you might have some ideas. No. Then she asked me, are you Madam Mrs. Moon? Yes. I said, okay, wait, I just click to the YouTube peace link. I clicked at the same time because her mobile is just Korean. So then I clicked one of the rally, that's Korean to she became more interested. Then she said, but many people in Korea are not happy with that. I say, it's okay, they're not happy, but you just think about how the world is so selfish. Think about how many families, so many decades separate. You just put yourself in the places. What do you think? And then people are, they don't like this to happen because their own selfish interests. They don't think about other people. So then say, okay, I'm very interested, I will be listening. I say, most of the time, every time my mobile, you see, Madam in photo always coming. I'm saying, yeah, so many things happen. You just click every time the piece link, you can listen because it's a Korean, you can understand many things. So then, because I was going somewhere, so I left it. He was just still continue listening. The 2022 think tank rally. I say, anytime can, because most of the events are already recorded, you can listen then to follow up what is going on in your homeland. So that was my experience yesterday. As again, Reverend Tucker said, there's so many people prepare around the world, but it's just only for us to open up. We don't know. Maybe somebody can think it's just an ordinary person. Maybe he's the right person that God prepared. And those who can think that they are righteous people, but they close their heart, they're not willing to come forward. So again, that's why we need to think about open our heart, especially as now we prepare again for the coming year. So how we move in with our Choninkuku HTM activities. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you, Rex. And our last person for today is Randall. Do you have your hand up? Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, with Reverend Yutaka's message of being able to understand that God is loving us as well personally. With the 40-day workshop that we had back in 84 or 85 with Kevin McCarthy, he was talking about a prayer condition that he did. So for 21 days, it was being able to, for 1 week, pray, why does God love me? Because if I understand, the things that why God loves me, then it's more than just a soft, warm, squeezy feeling, but rather we have a definite understanding of, what it is that God really sees in me and why he loves me. Then next thing is, and so 1 week of why does God love me? 1 week of what does God want me to change? And this is the way to understand a bit of just the type of the things that I really need to do to develop or to help with my witnessing or things like this. And then the third week is, what do I have to do to do that? And for Kevin McCarthy, it was doing a, showing pride in the church and going down to it was like he had to do the family pledge or the my pledge at that time in the central square of his town. And he thought, this is really a challenge, and it took like 3 hours before he could actually start saying it. And once he actually did it, then he was ridiculed straight away, and he kind of felt, these guys just don't understand. And he had a parental heart towards them. And as he finished, a man came up to him and says, "You're a Mooney, aren't you?" And says, "Listen, I've got this radio show and I'm looking to interview people. Can you come on to my show?" And so anyway, he went from there to witness to the whole town this way. I did that type of 3-week prayer condition one time myself, and it's just kind of reinforced a few things. And then I got scared of, now is coming up the time of I have to find out what God doesn't like about me or something like this, or what he wants to change. And so, but just the whole thing of understanding ourselves, because we're getting into the part where we are wanting to really do some real changes this this next few months, coming into, when Channeling Book is getting things. So, yes, Seti is probably thinking, oh, I can hear a dog out there just like I have at times. So, yeah, my dog is happy to hear me there. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Grendel. Thank you, everyone. It's time for us to share our unison prayer. I'll just share the screen and let's pray together. Arju, Arju, Arju. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Next
Yeah.
time, come here, please.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rex. And
Thank you. See you all. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
thank you.